Hello everyone. I need some moment to start this stream. You just tell me if it's okay with the sound. How's the guitar? I'll just play something for now. Okay, probably it's okay. Nevertheless, I'll just play something for a minute or two and then we'll start the stream. Okay, so this was, I guess, my first Celtic song that I've learned. It was, I guess, it was video by Tony McManus. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. So anytime I pick a guitar in a dead cat tuning, I usually start with this song because I like it very much. So let's start. So my name is Alex. I'm a fingerstyle guitarist from Ukraine. More specifically, I'm from Kiev. As you know, now my country is torn apart by war. Russia tried to invade us, but they couldn't, as you can see. There is a great resistance throughout all the country, and we're gonna fight till the end. At the moment, everybody here does everything they can in order to help our people, help our army. So my weapon is my music, my guitar. So I decided to use my skills in order to help our military forces and raise some funds. Hopefully I will. And the way I decided to do it, I'll teach you some cool guitar techniques in percussive fingerstyle. Probably you've watched a lot of fingerstyle videos and you know what it's gonna be, but I've got some twist here. I've got, how do you say that? I've got something up my sleeve. I've got a trick up my sleeve. I've installed drum triggers inside the body of this guitar. I'm not gonna be using them now, but I'm gonna show you my live video at the studio. It's an extract from my song, which is called Haunted House. I've recorded it live a couple of months ago. I was planning to release it this spring actually, but I couldn't. Well, you know why. The war messed our plans, as it messed plans of a lot of people. So probably without further ado, let's watch this video and then we'll break it down. So here it is. It might look pretty complex, but in reality it is not. It is much more simpler as it looks and sounds. Probably it's not for beginners, it might be for intermediate players. But anyway, I will teach you all the techniques, so if you're a complete beginner, you might try and learn it. It would not be that hard. Okay, let's start with the tuning. The tuning of this tune is dead gad. Um, so it's let's do it string by string. So starting from the bottom string, sixth string D, A, D, G, A, D. So basically, the second, or sorry, the third, fourth, and the fifth strings are tuned exactly the same like in a standard tuning, but the first, second, and sixth string are tuned the whole tone down. Mm, it opens a lot of opportunities to play in open tunings like this, so I use them in order to play this particular song. Okay, first things first, let's start with chord progression and chord shapes. The chord progression here is B minor, A major, G major, and A major. Let's talk about the shapes. So it's a typical minor shape on the fourth and third strings. So you fret your fourth string on the ninth fret and your third string on the seventh fret, just like you would do on a standard tuning. You get a minor third, and then you just press sixth string on right above the fourth string on the same fret, because you know these are both Ds, so now they're both Bs. So this is the minor shape. Sixth string on the ninth fret, fourth string on the ninth fret, and the third string on the seventh fret. It's pretty easy. The same thing about A major. So you just move two steps down your two frets down the scale, and here's your A major shape. And you add your sixth string for an octave, and then you move two frets down to G shape, G chord. Again, it's a major shape, and then you go up two frets to A major. So these are the chords for the first two parts of the solo. Later we'll introduce two more chords, but for now it's enough. And now about the techniques. The first technique I'm using, I call it pluck and kick. So you pluck the any amount of strings you can actually, but usually it's four strings, one with your thumb, and the three strings with the second, third, and fourth finger. So you can take any chord and practice it, but in this case we'll take this shape. So we'll pluck the sixth, the fourth, and the third strings, and as we pluck the strings, we move our palm towards the body of our guitar and hit it. You don't have to hit it hard, just hit it. That's it. So you perform a movement like this. You can practice it with different chord shapes in order to get used to it. It's not a natural movement for most guitar players, because naturally we don't do that. We do that only when we play percussive fingerstyle. So you gotta get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's very simple and very easy. So you can practice any rhythm you like. You just need to practice this technique, pluck and kick. So the next technique will be scratching. In order to perform scratching, you might want to use some Velcro tape, as I did here. I know quite a lot of fingerstyle guitarists use a wooden scratching pad, but I just didn't have time to put some wood here. This requires going to a luthier or anybody who knows how to do that properly. I had some Velcro tape, one that you use for your pedal boards in order to stick your pedals in place. So this one works pretty good for me. I actually like it. Here you can see it up close. Just 2 stripes of Velcro tape, and that's it. And you see that you can listen to the sound. The sound is warmer than a wood would have made, and it's quieter, so you don't have to control yourself. You scratch it, and it's not overwhelming. Okay, now let's discuss the pattern. So the first half of the first bar. Here you perform a 16th triplet. Basically, just move quickly with your third finger, second finger upwards, and then you move your thumb downwards. And if you do it really fast, you'll get something like this. So this is the triplet, and then you need to scratch up with any of your fingers, with both, whichever way you like. And then as your hand rises up, it's already in place for a snare. So basically you do this. And if you perform the first kick and then this, you'll get the first half of the first bar. Then you just let your strings ring and continue your rhythmic pattern. It goes like this. Let's talk in more detail. Then you need to play this. Basically, it's also triplets, but this time it's 8th notes, 8th triplets. So you scratch down, and then you again down, up, down, up, down, up. 6 notes. I'm sorry, 4. Okay. And then you play 2 kicks. After 2 kicks, you continue scratching. So basically, you just need to learn the rhythmic pattern here and to scratch. Just pay attention when you've got, for example, an even number of scratches, like here 4 scratches. You start with downstroke. If you've got, for example, 7 scratches, like here, you start with an upstroke, up scratch, I would call it. So let me play the rhythm, and you could learn it later. Just listen carefully to it and memorize it. Probably you could also improvise, invent your own way to play it. It doesn't matter actually for the beginning of this solo. So I'll play first 2 chords, and then I'll add some more on the 3rd chord, and I'll explain it. So on the G chord, I'm introducing some hammer-ons on the chord shape, more on the fourth and sixth string. So as I play kick, I'm just adding some hammer-ons. And right before the hammer-ons, I'm playing some shuffle, So it needs to move, these fingers need to move in the same rhythmic pattern. So here it's very simple break. First, scratch down, hit here, and then scratch up. Again, here you don't use pluck and kick because you just hammer on the whole chord. Let me play the last chord. So here starts the second part of the solo. Here it's the place where I start introducing melody. The melody is played with triplets. I use two-hand tapping technique in order to perform this. So the chord shapes are the same, the chord progression is the same. We'll just add a solo here. So let's start with the first bar of the first half of the first bar. It's the same as it was before in the previous part. But now instead of scratching, we start playing triplets here. We'll perform these triplets on the first and second strings. Let me play the melody first and then I'll explain it. So basically here we've got 6 notes, 2 triplets. The first triplet goes like this. You hammer on the 11th fret of the first string, then you pull off, and then you hammer on with the pinky of your fretting hand on the 9th fret. This is the first triplet. And the second triplet is the same, but you hammer on the 12th fret of the first string. Again, hammer on, pull off, and then again hammer on the 9th fret. So together it sounds like this. And if we combine these two parts, we'll get this. Let me play it slower. So we stopped with a hammer on the first string on the 9th fret. So this time we need to pull it off, and at the same time as we pull it off, we need to hit the kick and continue with our triplets, but this time on the second string. So you pull off the first string and kick, then you hammer on with your pinky on the 9th fret of the second string, then you pull it off, then you hammer on the 12th fret, pull it off, and hammer on again on the 9th fret of the second string. So this is the third part of triplets. Let me play them together. Now it's time for another kick, and here it's the same situation as it was before on the first string, but this time our pinky stopped on the second string on the 9th fret. So again we hit the kick and we perform a pull off on the second string, but this time we will add also a snare here. Da 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 da. Now we're pulling off and hammering on just with our pinky, and that's it. And our right hand is performing kick and then snare. Again, we stopped here, we hammered it on, and then we pull it off. Okay, let's combine these three parts. I will comment on each part and make pauses between them, and then I'll play it all together. First part, scratching. Now we need to start playing triplets. We stopped on the 9th fret of the first string, then we perform first kick. Let's do it again. Then we need to perform another kick and a snare. So together it sounds like this. I'll play it slowly. After the second snare, we need to play two intervals. The first interval goes like this. You fret just the second and third string on the 7th fret. It's a second. And then you play a third on the second string on the 5th fret and third string on the 4th fret. And you pluck them with your third and second finger. But there's a twist here. When you pluck the second interval, this third here, this minor third here, you need to play a kick. So you perform the same technique as the first technique I showed you, pluck and kick, but this time without your thumb. You don't need your bass for a moment here, just this interval on the second and third strings. So right after you finished so you need to practice this move. And then starts second bar. So second bar also starts with pluck and kick and with A major. So you need to combine these two intervals and then you need to start another bar. So you need to practice this move. You see the difference? When you take the full chord, you need to pluck your bass note. So first you need to also practice this transition. Here interval without bass and with kick. Here with bass and with kick. So and then you can play all two intervals and the chord. You will need some time to practice that, but I don't think that it's really hard. So now let's combine all the triplets and these intervals and the transition to the second chord. I'll play it slow. I'll play it again just to make sure. So we've come to the second chord of the solo. And here I'll tell you the secret to how to learn it very easy, because there's one common pattern for all the chords throughout all the solo. The pattern is the same and it changes depending on the chord you're playing. So each time you change your chord, you go one step down your scale. So this was B minor and this is A major. So when you played B minor, you were playing these three notes on your first string. You were playing on the 9th fret, on 11th fret, and 12th. So as we move one step down our scale, we move the notes too. But notes should belong to our scale, of course. So this time we use the 7th fret, 9th, and 11th. That's what we're gonna be using here. And on the second string, it's the same. So we're gonna be using 7th and the next 9. That's pretty easy. And all the moves, all the percussive moves are the same, and all the rhythmic moves are also the same. So the melody changes just with chord progression, and that's it. So let me play the second chord. The only difference is just that our intervals, this time they go up the scale. So we're gonna be using... let me play it again. See? This time we go up the scale. But anyway, let's discuss in more detail. So first, pluck and kick. The same scratching pattern and the same triplet pattern. You start on the 9th fret of the first string and perform 2 triplets. And next one here, the same as it was before on this. Now it's... And again, after we complete these triplets, we stop at the 7th fret of the first string, and then we play kick. Sorry. The same thing, and then we need to play another kick and snare. So together it sounds like this. And then intervals. The first one here, 7th fret of the 3rd string and 9th fret of the 2nd string. And here you move one step up the scale, 9th fret and 10th fret, accordingly to the 3rd and 2nd string. And of course the second interval is played with pluck and kick. You see, I'm not changing my fingering here. It's not very convenient to play these 2 notes with my second finger and my pinky, but it makes it easier to strum the next chord. You see, it's the same, and you add your bass note and your root note here on the 4th string and 6th string. See, that's why I'm not changing. This time when... Okay, let's roll back a little bit to our A major chord. I'll play it again. Just remember the most important thing for you is to learn the pattern on the first chord, and then it will be easy peasy for you. This time we've got more notes in our chord because I needed it to start with a D note here on the 2nd string, so that's why I'm plucking the root note and the 4th string on the 5th fret, 3rd string on the 4th fret, and 2nd string on the 5th fret. So I'm plucking this with a root note. and I'm adding a kick, pluck and kick. And then again, when we play this chord, G chord, everything is the same. We just move everything down our scale. So this time we're gonna use the 7th fret, 9th fret, and the 5th fret on the first string, and the 5th fret and 7th fret on the second string. So this time again, two intervals here. The 6th string, the 6th fret of the 1st string, and the 7th fret of the 2nd string. And the next interval is here on the 7th and 9th fret of the 3rd and 2nd string, alongside with kick. And as we play this kick, we get ready for the 4th chord, and it's again A major. So let me play the G chord again slowly. This time everything repeats exactly the same. We'll just have, instead of these intervals, we'll have a melody in the end. But all the triplets, all the melody before that is the same, exactly the same as it was before. So now we move up our scale and we use the same pattern. And this time we play this melody. We add a kick on the 5th fret before we finally move to our last part of the solo, and it starts with a D chord. I use a D chord with this shape, the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, and the 1st string on the 4th fret. And of course I pluck the first 3 strings with a root note. And the rhythmic pattern is the same. This time I'm using some strumming of low strings in order to add more, I don't know, what's the word for it? More expression to this chord. So as you play your snare, you strum with your fingers. I prefer in this case, in this song, to strum just the lowest strings. I don't want to strum all the strings. That's too much for me here. So let's do it again. Here the pattern changes just a little bit because we're changing the chords and they are of different shapes. So I've decided to expand the melody to a wider range. So this time we're gonna be working on the 1st and 2nd strings again, but our right hand will work only on the 7th fret, and our pinky will work on the 4th fret of the 1st and 2nd strings. So first triplet goes like this. You start with the 2nd string on the 7th fret, hammer on, pull off, and here you hammer on the 1st string, 4th fret. And the second triplet is performed on the 1st string entirely. So together they're played like this. It's pretty easy. I prefer not to mute the strings, so in order for them to ring as much as they can. So this time when you pull off the 2nd strings, it continues to ring. Let's combine it with the first part. And now again, the same as it was before in the second part of the solo. When it's time to perform another kick, and you stopped here with your pinky with a hammer on, you perform a pull off and continue. So let's discuss this one. You pull off the first string and then you hammer on the second string on the fourth fret with your pinky. Then you pull it off and then you perform another triplet on the first string. Again. Then after you, this time again you stopped here at the fourth fret of the first string, but now you need to perform again one more kick. Sorry. See the third part. You pull off the first string, then you hammer on the second string, pull off, and then you hammer on again on the first string. This time we won't be playing any more kicks because we need to hammer on two notes here. That's it. So as our right hand is here, obviously we cannot play with our palm here the kick, so we'll miss this one. Now let me play all the chords together. The second chord is F sharp. It's exactly the same pattern, exactly the same, everything is exactly the same as it was in D major, but this time we just got bass here on the fourth fret on the sixth string, and we got F sharp here on the fourth fret of the fourth string. So basically you just add two strings, but all the pattern and all the notes here are the same as it was before on the D chord. This time you just move down your scale and play on the 7th and 9th fret of the first string, and that's it. So let me play these two chords together in order for you to see how almost identical they are. So this is the last chord of the solo, actually, almost. And this is G chord. So you need to take this shape. You press your sixth string on the fifth fret. Here's your bass. Third string is open because it's G, and you've got second string on the fifth fret and the first string on the fourth fret. This makes this G chord sound pretty sexy. So again, the pattern is the same, but this time as our ring finger is already pressing the second string on the fifth fret, so it makes no sense to play the melody here. So I've changed it a little bit, and this time our index finger will work on the left hand, will work only on the first string, on the fourth fret, but The right hand will be tapping the same strings, the same pattern as it was before on previous chords. So let me play it first and then I'll explain it. So obviously the ending is a little bit different, but all the same, everything is the same. So this time, no skipping strings here, no changing strings for this finger, and you play triplets like you played before. So let me play it slow, the first triplet. You start on the 7th fret and you hammer on and it plays note, the D note. This is the first triplet, and then you start on the first string. We are already familiar with this triplet, so together they sound like this. And then again you add a kick. See, the same. Sorry, I got carried away. So we stopped after the first triplets. The second pair of triplets is played like this. You pull off the first string, and then again you need to play another kick and another snare. It's performed entirely on the first string. After you're done with that, you perform a quick like this on the second string. Don't be afraid to strum other strings here, because they will just add more harmony to your chord. It's not a big deal. You can play it clean. You can play it clean. I don't always like to play it clean. I prefer to. You can even strum more strings as you wish. And this is actually the last chord here. It's G major chord. Sorry, A major chord. The same rhythmic pattern, scratching pattern, and here you will need to perform harmonics. They're called, I guess, not pinch harmonics, artificial harmonics. I don't know what's the exact word. So you perform it with your right hand. So the way you do it, you just place your index finger on the 12th fret of your first string, and you just pluck the string with your pinky ring finger. Then the next harmonic is also on the 12th fret, but this time on the second string. And the third one is performed on the 11th fret of the third string, because remember, we've got third string, it is pressed here on the 6th fret. Sorry. So probably I need to practice it more too, but you get the idea. It's a little bit tricky, but there's a nice tutorial on these kind of harmonics by Mike Doss. Actually, this is the way I learned them. I practiced a little bit and now it's quite easy to perform. There are lots of ways you can do this kind of harmonics. You can also perform this with your second or third finger, and pick them with your thumb. Something like this. I do not prefer this method. I prefer this one. And that's it. And I guess the ending of it, it's pretty easy. After all, if you've done this through, I guess it will be very easy for you to learn this part. That's it. I won't be explaining that because this is too easy. So let me play this again and we'll talk about some other stuff. I'll try to play it slower for you in order to have another version to play along with, and probably I could play it again in a normal tempo. So this one is slow. So this is a slow version, and now I'll play a little bit faster. So I guess this is it. This is it for this lesson. Probably if you're interested in something more, maybe some lessons or lessons via Skype or whatever, you can DM me anytime you want. on my Instagram page. I guess this will be the fastest way to contact me. I should say that I can teach you for free, and all you can do is support Ukrainian Army through some of the ways you find it useful or convenient for you. I'm not gonna check how much you donate, or if you do not donate at all. So I just want some fair deal for everybody, and I want to help my country as much as I can. And if I can do it with mm, my music skills, I'll be happy to do it. I must say that I will donate all the money which I get after this stream or any other activity, musical activity. I will donate it straight to Ukrainian Army and to help Ukrainian refugees, to people who had to leave their homes. I want to assure you that everybody is waiting uh, till this war ends and we win, and all our people who had to leave the country, they will come back. Now let me show you some links I've prepared here for you. Uh, this is the way you can help. You can choose any type of help you find appealing for you. So the first one is called Come Back Alive. This is one of the most famous Ukrainian websites, organizations who help Ukrainian army and people in need. You can visit their website here, and there's a donate page. You can do that in any way, even with cryptocurrencies. You can read about this project. This is legit, so I've checked it. It's very famous in Ukraine and internationally, so you don't have to worry about that. There's also another website, another organization here. It's called Razom for Ukraine. Razom in Ukrainian means together. So they help mostly people who had to leave their homes, um, who had to go to other countries, or probably to find some shelter here in other cities of Ukraine. So here again, you can find lots of information here, and you can donate right on their website. And there's a fun project here. I guess it will be very appealing for my friends from United Kingdom. This is a project by Ukrainian journalist Roman Cymbaluk. This one is called Palyanytsia. This probably you have heard of it. The word Palyanytsia. This is a Ukrainian word, and it is known that Russian cannot pronounce it correctly. So anytime a Russian comes to Ukraine and pretends to be local, we just would ask him, "Can you say Palyanytsia?" And they just can't. And this is very funny, and this is how this journalist decided to make some stickers. This one represents all the kids who were killed by Russian terrorist army in Ukraine. So this angel is a personification of all the kids who suffered from this war. And he holds NLAW. This is the kind of weapon which was given to Ukrainian army by United Kingdom, and we are very thankful for you for that. NLAWs, javelins, stingers, everything. Our partners, United Kingdom, United States, and many more. Poland, of course. Uh, we're thankful and we really appreciate your help. And I just want to tell you this: the more weapon our army gets, the sooner this war will end. We don't need peacemakers here. The best peacemaker here is Ukrainian army. So if you want this war to end, you need to help our army. And by buying these stickers, actually you can see that the prices are different. This one, the small one, costs $10. Of course, a sticker cannot cost $10. This is basically some kind of charity, and the sticker is given to you, will be sent to you, just like a fun thing for you to have, like a souvenir from Ukraine. And another thing here, lots of Ukrainian people read this N law, they read it as N love, which sounds like love. So from Ukraine with N love. It's fun, pun, something like this. And the last thing you can do, you can visit a link down here in the description with which I don't remember how it's called. I just registered there recently. It is called Streamlabs. Yeah, Streamlabs Bioacoustics. So this way you can donate to my PayPal account, and I will donate all this money to Ukrainian Army. That's for sure. So I guess it's time to end this stream. It took quite a lot of time. Not many people here, but I hope some of you will watch it later when it's finished. So it's never too late to help and stand with Ukraine. Together we win and this war will end. Slava Ukraini! See ya!